And hello and welcome to this week's Monkey Nut Punch podcast. Now, this is an infected Monkey Nut Punch podcast because both I and Gareth have had the lurgies. Unfortunately, the lurgies are still with Gareth. So I am taking on, like the brave soldier that I am, the hosting duties, and I'll rescue Gareth because I'm his hero, aren't I, Gareth?
You still owe me 2 t-shirts. Chuck was only Chuck desperately trying to save you from your debt. So yeah,
He's a good buddy.
It's not as bad as Friday's podcast that I did for the Gaming Face Punch channel, where I had no voice and it was just Babster and Nigel just pissing themselves laughing at my squeakiness. So I'm all raspy now, which is much better.
Oh, you sound much more husky, much more manly.
Yeah.
Joking aside, I had it earlier on in the week. Worst cold I've had in months. It was not good. So well done for soldiering on. Okay, so what are we talking about this week? Well, Gareth discovered Slow Horses on Apple TV, which is fucking awesome. So we're going to be talking about that. Obviously, we're going to be talking about Picard season 3 because it just keeps getting better. And Disney finally fired somebody for being shit. It's only taken them God knows how many years. So, Gareth, what do you want to talk about first?
Let's start off with the firing for being shit, because I don't know why this isn't like standard operating procedure for Disney. You're shit, ergo you are gone. I really don't get it. It doesn't make any sense. But finally, they went, you're shit. You've cost us, not just cost us a movie franchise, you've also cost us our special district in Florida at the same time. And you need to be gone. And I know they're going to make excuses, and she's going to sue. If she sues, then she's never working on Hollywood again. She was there apparently from the start when they were above a fucking Mercedes dealership. And she's one of the obnoxious people who keeps pushing the message, and it's just nice to have a scalp for our side.
Yes, it is, but I don't think it's enough.
It's not. But Keith, this is a victory. We should just enjoy the fact that we scored one.
It is a victory. And in actual fact, I think it's going to be one of many to come. I mean, she was in charge of special effects, which have frankly been shocking for the most part in all of Marvel's stuff recently. But I mean, like you with Star Wars, and I have to admit, Andor was the only thing that kind of kept me rooted to Star Wars. I'm like that with Marvel. I have just become like, I haven't been to the cinema to see a Marvel movie for over a year. I just won't give them the money. And it's funny, since Kevin Feige started slapping his name on these movies, Kevin Feige production, they've all been shit. I don't know where they thought the arrogance and obnoxiousness of doing She-Hulk. I mean, it was so unbelievably obnoxious. I mean, they accuse these people that they were trolling of being obnoxious. My God, you were more obnoxious than any one I've seen.
Do you know the thing that got me about that is the quality of the writers, and this is where I think Kevin Feige needs to fucking go. Pardon my language. Yeah, because the writers, none of them knew how to write a legal drama, none of them knew how to write television, and none of them knew how to write a comedy. And they were supposed to write a television comedy drama starring a Marvel character, and no one was qualified. So, I know it's this fucking age old the diversity bullshit, but yeah.
I mean, I messaged you earlier in the week, and you've probably been sick, so you didn't watch it. But I watched this week's Mandalorian, and it was bad, but I couldn't get over how bad the effects were and the sets. Gareth, they were meant to be outside, and I swear to God, the 1984 planet set where Tasha Yar died in Next Generation looked fucking better. than this, right?
That,
And then like, we
what
finally
do you
get
call it?
how Grogu was saved from the Jedi Temple, right? I'm sorry, I didn't know who was playing the Jedi that saved him, and it's only yesterday that I learned that was the guy that voiced Jar Jar Binks. But again, when he's on his speeder bike going through Coruscant, the effects are so bad. I've seen better blue. I've done better blue screen.
Right, going back to Victoria Lunta. Apparently, she's upset all the visual effects houses in Hollywood. She has narked them to the point that they do not want to work for Disney. That takes a lot. It really does. And one of the things that they said, and I imagine it's probably the same here with The Mandalorian, was that Marvel don't know what they bloody want. So you'll get a brief from them, you'll do the brief, and then they'll change the brief. You'll change that brief, and then they'll change it one more time. And we know this because of all the bloody delays that they've had in reshoots, because they haven't given the guys enough time. I'll be honest with you, in my contract, it would be you get it at a really good rate if you get your spec right first time. But the moment you walk into the we're changing it, it's like, guys, you're gonna have to fork over a shitload of cash because we're expecting more money from you because you broke your agreement. That's what I'd be doing, and that's what should be done. So it should be costing them more. But that's me.
I mean, I was thinking about it. You're right, but the only Marvel movie I've seen at the cinema in Phase 4 was Shang-Chi, and technically Spider-Man 3. I saw 3 times in the cinema. But that wasn't really a Marvel Phase 4. That's Sony. It's the only one that I saw at the cinema. None of the others are, and I haven't seen Ant-Man. I haven't actually seen Ant-Man, and I don't really intend to.
Sorry. Chuck's being funny in the comments. He's saying I'm being like Charlie and Charlie's Angels, but Charlie wasn't sick with a cold during most of the season.
No.
Anyway, sorry, Keith, I'll put you off.
I mean, I'm glad that she's gone. She annoyed me, when she was interviewed on Wakanda Forever, never, and then started spouting off in Spanish on the. I mean, she just comes across as a obnoxious bitch. Excuse my language, but she does. Look, I know everybody loves Disney, and I still would love to go to Disneyland. I'd love to go to the Disney parks, but Disney is an entertainment company. I'm kind of going, ha ha, serves you right.
Oh no, I'm with you. I'm with you. I hate seeing bad businesses thrive. That's my thing. I really don't like seeing bad businesses thrive. So I mean, I want bad businesses to either get better or go. So
I'm trying to think if I've seen anything decent on Disney Plus other than Andor, and I other than that Thai cave rescue thing, which was made by National Geographic, so not technically Disney. There's nothing else I've seen that I could really remember as being all that good. Just none of Disney's content is any good. None
of the newer content is, but they've got older content from other things. It's all right.
Mandalorian season 3 is shockingly bad. I mean, it's just bad. It's boring. This week's episode was rescue a kid from a flying bird thing. Wow. That's advanced the Star Wars universe by a lot, and we only get 8 episodes of this shit. We're halfway through, and it's been shit. I'm just I'm in 2 minds about whether I'll go and see Indiana Jones. The trailer is a pretty good trailer. I think we both sort of said as a trailer.
Like the trailer. I'm not sure the film's going to be any good. But whoever did the trailer worked with the best they had. Okay, we'll give them that. But I'm not sure if it's going to be a good film. But you're right. But then again, I love the trailer. One of my favorite trailers of all time is the trailer to Prometheus. Yeah, that's not a great film, but that's a great trailer.
I'll give you that. I'll give you that. I don't. Yes, it's a victory, but I'm not sure she was sacked for the right reasons. I'm not sure, because I know how Bob Chapek thinks. I mean, don't forget, he's the fucking architect of all this. Iger, sorry. He's the architect of all this bullshit. He is the fucking architect.
Well, he needs to cut 4,000 jobs. That's one.
Well,
3,999 to go. That's
if I was
poor
Disney
bastards, the only regulars.
employees and I was like the low end employees, I would be out protesting and saying that the bosses have to go, because it's the bosses that have overseen all of this and been the architects of this. It's the bosses like Feige and her and all the others that okay these ridiculously bad films. It's them that have this, you know, ever since Avengers Endgame, the damn Marvel Cinematic Universe has had no fucking direction whatsoever. And it doesn't, I mean, my fucking 12-year-old niece says that. I mean, she can do a better job. She knew the whole reason that people went to see Marvel films is they were leading somewhere, right? So far as I'm concerned, that it was over with Endgame, and I think Endgame is a bad movie. There were so many bad mistakes made in that movie. I know what I said about Infinity War at the time. I was going through something. I watched that film now, and I think this is a fucking good film. The next one is bad, just bad. And you know, the only good film has been Spider-Man 3, and that's because it was Sony.
Yeah, because Sony had the creative kind of control over all of that stuff. It's Endgame. It's annoying because there were certain opportunities that they missed in Endgame. One was the rematch with the Hulk. Yeah, that was one that was clearly on there. And then there was the rematch with Thor. And then there was the fact that they didn't kill off the Thanos that actually did the damage. They killed off a different one. And then they introduced the multiverse, which was like, ooh, now you've removed consequences. Well done. None of your stories have any stakes. And it's right. We'll talk about Star Trek later, but using Picard as an example, a fight between two ships in Picard has more stakes than it did at the end of the first season of Picard, when they had 8 million ships fighting off against 8 million ships, because there were stakes and we understood those stakes and we were engaged with those stakes. And putting the multiverse thing in there has buggered it up. Did you hear about the guy who played Kang? What happened to him last night?
No, Jonathan Majors. Oh no, the other guy. Sorry, come on.
Jonathan Majors got arrested for beating up his girlfriend.
I'll take it.
Can't make it up. I really can't make it up. I was having trouble sleeping because of this, and I was just flicking through news and bits, and I just found that, and I was like, "Oh my god!" So, well done, Disney. You fucking hitched your cart to the wrong horse. So yes,
well, he'll imagine. Be recast, then.
I don't know. I'd be honest with you. I think they'd be better off using a Nihilus as the next bad guy and have the negative zone.
I think they would be better off actually just scrapping everything they've got in the lineup and going back to the drawing boards. You know, she was famous for dissing the X-Men. The X-Men are still liked comic-wise. She was famous for dissing all of the things. I think they need to go back to the drawing board and they go to, right, do we want to continue Marvel Studios? If we do, we've got to bring back Tony Stark. Right, that's the first thing. No one ever dies in comics, so they can come up with some timey-wimey, wibbly-wobbly shit to bring him back. Chuck a fucking $100 million at Johnny, you know, Robert Downey Jr. He'll come back. He's already sort of half indicated he'll come back. You know, Chris Evans. You know, people say, "Oh, it was all about Chris Evans as well." Yeah, you know, one or the other. If I was going for one, it'd be Tony Stark. He was the one that started it all. Bring him back and then just start off anew, reset everything. You know, we don't. I mean, people diss like Miss Marvel. Actually, Miss Marvel was probably one of the better. And it's not saying much. Don't get me wrong; it's not saying much, but it was one of the better TV series than everything. But I'm not interested in seeing the Marvels. I just no interest whatsoever. The only reason that I might watch Loki season 2 is because when Tom Hiddleston is on with what's his face, they are quite charismatic together.
Owen Wilson, yeah.
Owen Wilson. That I could watch those two having a chat all day long, but I know it's going to be more of the same bullshit.
Oh yeah, Lady Loki.
But they've delayed Agatha Harkness. I don't need an Agatha Harkness series. I
never asked for an Agatha Harkness series. There are so many. There's so many other characters, and you gave me an Agatha Craven the Hunter series. We could have done that. Would have been good. I'm just trying to think of like the random C-list villains at least. But yeah, it's I don't know. Stiltman TV series can cross it over with Daredevil. That would have been better.
I think they've got to reset it. They've got to look at right. You got Spider-Man 4 on the horizon. That's good. That you could sort of have a word with Sony, and think about that as a film. You could, they killed off Daredevil. I'm really not looking forward to Daredevil because they're recasting people in that. So, and I'm not looking forward to
They
Disney's
haven't killed it
version of
off. They
Daredevil.
fucked it up.
Well, no,
it'll
so
only be
far as
killed off when we've watched it and we've gone, that was shit.
Yeah, well, no, I think Daredevil will get delayed. I think they're beginning to realize how bad Marvel is. They definitely know how bad Star Wars is.
All right, so that's my big question, because Ding Dong, we want the witch to be gone, yeah, and she needs to go because she's costing them just as much money as Victoria Alonso. She's pissed away the $4 billion that they spent acquiring Star Wars, and she definitely needs to go. Hopefully, I know we said we like the trailer, but if Indiana Jones collapses like a black hole, if people go and see it the first day and they go, nah, give it a miss, mate, and it has a massive drop off like I expect it to do, because there will be those people who don't know, who will wander in there to watch Indiana Jones and then go, what is this shit? So it's one of those things.
I think she will be gone. I'm very much in two minds about The Acolyte. I like the sound of the cast. The person that is show running this is you're never ever going to convince me that she had no idea about Harvey Weinstein. You are never going to convince me of that. And she's one of what's her face's fucking proteges. So she can be gone as well. And this isn't a hate, anything against women. This is against shit. And I'm sorry, these people are shit at their jobs. They have failed upwards. They have been failing for years. And it's finally the roost that the chickens are coming home to the roost, and it's tough shit. I mean, this week I'm hearing interesting things, and I'm sort of picking up on rumors that I think have some validity about Star Trek, in the fact that the Paramount, like when Picard season 3 started off, no one was watching it. I mean, it was considered a flop, and it's only through people like the fandom medicine who've been making videos for the most part saying how good it is that people have suddenly started watching. And the last few episodes have been #1 on Paramount Plus, and it's this week that they've decided that it sounds like they've pretty much contracted Terry Matalis to come back and write his series. And it's funny how suddenly we're hearing a lot about Star Trek Legacy.
Do you want to hear something funny? The thing that gets me, and this is the bit that's probably made them go, you know what? It's an awful thing to say about it. It's cheaper.
Yeah, I mean, Picard season 3 had a minuscule budget, and yet it has been the best Trek in 20 years.
It's about 7 sets in total.
Yeah. And why? Because it's well written, it's well directed. Yeah, it's not perfect. Yes, there's a few things wrong with it, but for the most part, it's certainly competently written. I love all the subtle digs. Look, whether you like it or not, and I'll give Terry Matalis his dues, right? I think he was in contractual talks when he appeared on that stream a couple of weeks ago. I think he was. So he has to say nice things. But he is retconning everything in Picard season 3. Or he's taking things and actually using them and writing them into it, where he can write them into it. Like, he's retconned the whole design of the Enterprise in episode 6. Just retconned it. Strange New Worlds, boom. And he knew what that would do. He knew what that would, by featuring that fucking original Constitution class as it looked like in the original line, he knew what that would do. This guy is a geek. This guy appears on streams. This guy is one of us. He knew the debate that would launch online. He knew it.
Right, we'll get to we will get to that. So, do you want to talk about? Okay, go on.
I want to talk about Slow Horses. I just want to finish off. I'm not going into Picard season 3, but what I'm saying is that the execs at Paramount have woken up to the fact that this suddenly everybody's saying nice things about this. It's only people like Doomcock who have their own agenda now.
Right.
That
Just yeah. On
that are
that
slagging it off.
on that note, I watched it. Yeah, and then I watched Red Letter Media. You know Red Letter Media?
Yeah.
And my weather vane was, how did Red Letter Media respond to it? Because I'll be honest with you, they're the guys. If it's shit, they'll rip it a new one. Yeah. And if it's not, because they are massive Star Trek fans, and Mike from Red Letter Media will slip in Star Trek references everywhere. I mean, everywhere. That's how big a Star Trek fan he is. But he's the one they coined two kind of public terms, and one is get excited for next product, consume next product, and how does it feel that you're old enough to watch all your favorite franchises die? Yeah, which is true, and they liked it. So from that perspective, I knew that he was full of shit for that. Just because he put it against my weather vane, and my weather vane went talking bullshit. But hey ho.
Oh, he is full of shit now. I'm sorry, he has an agenda, but I'm not going to go more into that. I no. But let's talk about Slow Horses, because you've discovered this show. I love this show. Everything from the theme tune to the spy work. They are from some books, and obviously you have
Slough
to get
House.
used to Slough House is kind of very fictitious, and where MI5's headquarters is fictitious.
No, that is the park is Thames House. That's
yes,
how they refer to Thames House.
Well, yes, but it's located in a different place in the books.
Yeah, because you're not allowed to go anywhere near Thames House. That's why. Yeah, MI6 building is fine for you to go near for some reason, but Thames House, which is literally over the other side of the river, you could throw a stone at. No, you're not allowed to go anywhere near
Thames House is a bit more conspicuous than bloody MI6.
But yeah, true.
I liked the first season. I enjoyed the first season. I fucking loved the second season.
Can I play a clip that I shared to a guy at work, and he wet himself laughing for like 2 days straight?
Yeah.
So it's just.
Oh yeah. Yeah, I know exactly.
I hope I got the sound on. Have I got the sound on? Yeah.
No. Yes. Yes.
I don't normally do these kind of speeches, but this feels like a big moment, and if it all turns to shit, I might not see any of you again. You're fucking useless. The lot of you. Working with you has been the lowest point in a disappointing career. Right.
I love that. I sent that to one of the guys at work, and I said, if I ever leave work, this is the speech I'm going to make. Yeah.
It's utter genius. It's an amazing show. And Gary Oldman is just at his best in this.
Yeah, he is.
I've really enjoyed this. I've really enjoyed this. It's very watchable.
It's one of the things that's trending quite high on Apple TV as a TV show. Yeah. And it was weird because it reminds me of Spooks. Remember Spooks? Spooks on BBC.
It does, but with a comic edge, I think.
Oh yeah, because it is. Because I always say to the missus, it's more interesting seeing incompetent people do things competently than it is seeing competent people do competent things. If that makes any sense, because of the struggle and the screw ups and stuff. And it's like you've got all these spies who get pushed out to Slough houses where all the shit ones are. So you've got Gary Oldman, who is actually a good spy left over from the Cold War, who. I don't know. He's got a game. I don't know what the game is. He's playing a game. Yeah. Everyone knows that he's playing a game, but no one knows what the game is, if that makes any sense. And then he gets all the spies pushed over there. So I got quite confused with the first episode because you've got the guy who looks like looks like a better version of Simon Pegg, who River something. I can't remember what his name is.
Yeah.
But you've got him, and he's running this thing at Stansted, and he's after a guy with a blue shirt and a white t-shirt, but he was told the wrong way round. So he attacks this one guy on the bloody tarmac thinking he's got a bomb. He got it wrong, yeah? He then finds the guy. He chases him down, and then you find out it's a training exercise because it looks like he blows himself up, and you think, oh, he's got the whole thing up. Looks like it's a training exercise, and everybody just rips the piss out of him for it. Every time he meets anyone, it's like kind of got all those people killed. It was a training exercise, and I love the reference to it in the second season where he calls in the September threat because someone's got a plane and they're going to fly into a building, and it's like kind of, oh my god, it's what was it, Stansted all over again, because that's what the exercise, because he called it in falsely. It's really good. I love Gary Oldman's character's up there with Gene Hunt, if you know what I mean.
Yes,
he's the spy version of Gene Hunt.
Oh yeah, and because I love fucking Gene Hunt. I mean, Gene Hunt still has the best lines on TV. It's fake as a tranny's fanny. You wouldn't get away with that now. But that line was on the BBC. There, if you look at it, Gene Hunt, it's fake as a tranny's fanny. Fucking brilliant, but I mean, Gary Oldman's got some brilliant lines in this. But what I like is it's not just comical. I mean, you know, you find out, spoilers if you haven't seen this, there's kind of like a Marvel stinger at the end of the first season, because what you didn't mention is River, who is not incompetent, who was fucked over.
No. In the second series, he proved that he was incompetent, but for something completely different.
Yeah. But River has a famous grandfather. Is his grandfather or his uncle?
Yes, his grandfather.
Grandfather, who is also a leftover Cold War spy. At the end of the first season, there is a stinger that actually does have quite big consequences to another character who you kind of like, who has issues, should we say, but she's actually a pretty fucking good spy when she gets the courage up, as you see in the second series.
There's some good bits there.
They haven't dealt with that yet, so I'm looking forward to that coming out in the third season. And it's, you know, Gary Oldman wasn't wrong in what he did. I'm not going to ruin this for you, but that hasn't been revealed yet. So that's quite a good singer. But Gary Oldman's, you know, fuck up is actually a very good spy, which you see again in the second season. And I thought the second season was a lot better than the first. I love the fact that they gave the sort of like fuck up but quite brilliant tech guy a kind of antagonist in the form of Luther's kind of stepdaughter. And she was again quite a competent spy, and she was fucking brilliant in this, because her bouncing off him throughout that that made for some great television. Like, you know, when they're arguing, she's breaking into the hard drives and shit like that. That was just fucking brilliant.
It's like the bit in the first series where I can't remember the woman's name. The one whose husband got killed. And she's arguing with the guy, and it's like kind of, we need to get hold of the what do you call it, the registration for the van so we can track it to the thing for stealing it. And then she goes out, and then she comes back, and she turns around. She went, "How did you get that?" And it was like, oh, it's obvious, isn't it? I phoned them up. I said I had an accident with the car. Couldn't quite remember it, but I do remember it was one of yours. And then they gave me the registration to it, and now you can plug the registration in. Because she's like what's English describes it? River describes it as being analog spycraft rather than the digital stuff that he does. The thing is the guy who does like the tech stuff is useful, but he's a prick. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
He is
totally.
And it's like when one of the characters dies, and I will call her that SpongeBob girl because that's referred to herself in Luther. She says to him, "Oh, don't you care that so-and-so died? You work with him?" Yeah, but we've got any pictures. So yeah, it's a good.
He is a prick, the tech guy, but I love the fact that in the second season, he has an antagonist that points out he's a prick, and she does it very well. No, I think Slow Horses is brilliant. I like the fact that they've obviously filmed all of these quite close to each other, because there's a third season, and they give us a trailer at the end of the second season. So it's definitely got a third season. There's a number of books that these are made after, and obviously one book per season. I am very much looking forward to the third season. It's the one reason I've actually kept my Apple TV thing, because this has been quite good. And
It's got
Ted
James
Lasso's back.
Callis. James Callis, isn't
Yeah.
it, from Battlestar Galactica?
I know.
So
I know.
it's going to be interesting. It's one of my newly discovered favorite TV series. I need to get my my father-in-law to watch it, because I think he'll enjoy the crap out of it too. And I'm actually I'm actually really tempted to go and dip into the books. So yeah, I'm gonna just quit. But on another note, apparently I was checking this out because I'd listened to the theme tune and I was like, is that Mick Jagger? Well, they couldn't have got Mick Jagger for this. And then it turns out it's Mick bloody Jagger. And apparently the story is that the guy who was in charge of the music knew Mick Jagger, and then he told him he was working on on Slow Horses, and he went, I love those books. And then he offered to do it, and then they heard about it, and they didn't know about it until they actually put the series together. But yeah, it's mad. It's good, a really good TV show. I highly recommend it. It's one of the best things on Apple. There's another one called Severance, which I'm watching now, which isn't as entertaining, but it does have a really good kind of mystery element to it. And I need you to watch that, Keith, so we can have a natter about that.
I will.
So go on. This is the thing you've been wanting to chat about to me all week.
Well, come on, it was really good. I mean, okay, we got the return of Picard season 3, episode 6, The Bounty, and I was like, when I saw the episode title, I went, they are not. I knew the Bounty reference in Star Trek. There is no fucking way. Hang on a second, right? In the end credits, that bloody Klingon thing that translates things, that's a cloaking device. I'm geeky enough, because I've read tech manuals, that I know that's a fucking cloaking device, right? But come on, come on.
No, that thing isn't a cloaking device. That's the portal device, because you see it get picked up by the Shrike.
It's Klingon writing. It's Klingon writing. It gets converted. I thought it was a portal device until I realised it's translating.
Which bit are you talking about? Right at the end when you have the thing that looks like it looks like the floating supercomputer thing that was in. Oh, he's gone. He's crapped. He's crapping out again. There's a bird on his wire.
Okay. There's a bit about the third of the way through the end,
it's not
end
bad
credit. This is a thing through the sort of midway through the credits where it's Klingon writing, and it keeps getting translated into thing, and that's a cloaking device. And when I saw the episode title Bounty, I thought, hang on, that is a very obscure Star Trek 4 reference, but there's no way in hell they're doing that. And they fucking did. And I just thought, shit. And you the thing is, and the thing that comes ever more apparent, right, is that Terry Matalis fucking loves Star Trek. And, you know, he likes paying fan service. I mean, did you notice the NX-01 refit? That's okay. So it has the original Enterprise from Enterprise that later had a refit. So it has like another thing, and that was there. Now you don't see the name of it, but I bet you that was NX-01 refit. But I think the biggest fucking thing from this, and blink and you miss it, but it's there, is when Worf and Riker walk past, or when they're in the Daystrom Center and they walk past, you see Genesis 2 rocket, nice. You see the canister from Star Trek Nemesis that blew up the Romulan Parliament. You see an attack treble, which was genius. Then you see a body or a body scan, which has a heartbeat, and above it is written James T. Kirk. Kirk lives. And again, Terry Matalis is famous for hating Generations because of that. Everybody hates Generations because of that. So Kirk lives, and the possibilities are endless. And I know that if I don't think it's going to happen. I don't think it's going to happen. but it would be very, very cool just to see William Shatner one more time. Just one more time. Even if it's just a brief fucking cameo. Even if right at the end of Picard season 3, we get the stinger at the end and it goes back to that room, and then the camera goes in, you just see the body of James T. Kirk lying, and then an eye opens. And that's it. If it ends like that and we never get any more Star Trek, I will still be satisfied. And Metalis knows it. And I'm loving it. I'm just... This has put a smile on my face every week, like no show has done for a very long time. Mainly because it means so much to me.
Okay, so first things first, and you're going to go, oh, I didn't think it was as good as last week's episode. Last week's episode was really good, and it's quite hard to top. And I felt it was a little too reliant on member berries. It made sense. Contextually, it was correct, but I felt it kind of lent too hard into it.
I think, look, I can see why some people would take that. On the first viewing, I found Georgie annoying at the beginning, like really annoying. Then I watched it again and went, okay, I understand why he's being like that. And they do, like, you know, everything Metalis introduces, he addresses. And he did address that. And I watched it again. This is the thing, right? I after that, I think third episode, I made a judgment and I said, I've got to go and watch it again. I have not made a judgment until I've watched it twice. And every second viewing, I kind of understand it more. So I was less annoyed by Georgie Filter Forge. I thought this was better, but that's because of the member berries, because I liked the member berries. I loved seeing the Enterprise. I loved seeing Voyager. I like how they fucking interject the music from each show in there. You know, the Defiant, you get that subtle Deep Space Nine, and then it cuts to the Enterprise A, and you get the original series music, and it cuts to Voyager, and God, she looked good. And you get that subtle Voyager music in the back. I loved all of that. Yeah, if you're not, I can understand why you would think episode 5 was better, and maybe objectively it was. I'm not
saying the episode was crap. I'm just saying.
No, I know what you're saying.
Yeah,
and I think you are probably more objective than me when it comes to Star Trek. So you are probably right that episode 5 objectively was better, right? They have not addressed Jack. That is a red herring.
That's right. So this is when you saw the title bounty, yeah, I thought they were going to explain that in this episode, what the bounty was on for Jack and why it was on for Jack. That's what I was thinking. And then when I saw the Klingon ship, I was like, now are they going to? I thought they were going to steal it. I thought they were going to steal the ship and use that to rescue him. And then it was like, nah, because we can't afford the sets, we're just going to take the cloaking device out because it's easier.
I've got one question for you. What's in Hangar Bay 12? What do you think is in Hangar Bay 12? Is it the E or is it a D? It can't be the D, but is it a Galaxy class?
It's gonna be the Enterprise D. It'll be the D. They made a comment. Look, right? Nobody likes the fat ones. So which one's not out on display? The fat one.
The fat one. That's because you got
and
blown
I'm
up.
I'm sure I saw the Sovereign class in that part.
No. What you saw, because from an angle, it does look like the Sovereign. It's not. It's the NX-01 refit. Because if you zoom in, you can see that it's the NX-01. It doesn't. You can't. They can't get the label on it, but it's the NX-01 refit from the game, just like the Enterprise F is from the game. So I love the fact that they're playing into that game because so many people love starships. And I mean, I really enjoyed it. It was a fun-filled episode. I love. I can understand why people think Vadic is slightly hammed up, and according to Dave Cullen, you're going to see that more. And I do think she's slightly hammy. But at the same time,
I think she's doing it. I think she's doing it on purpose, and she's enjoying herself. I think she's having a whale of time playing the villain. Because when she's sitting in the chair and she's yelling orders to people, yeah, she's suppressing it, but she's got a big bloody grin down below. Yeah, because it's one of those things. That's the kind of thing you want to do is yell, do this, do that.
I mean, I think somebody needs to remind Dave Cullen of her father's role in Star Trek, because he was equally as hammy and equally as, just having a laugh. Nobody's experienced Shakespeare until you've heard it in its original Klingon. That was her father, Christopher Lambert.
No, not Christopher Lambert, Christopher Plummer.
Sorry, that's what I meant. I keep mixing those two up.
Lambert.
Christopher Plummer.
Lambert is Christopher Lambert.
Highlander. Yeah. Sorry. Moment. Christopher Plummer was brilliant, and I think she's quite good. So I think I slightly disagree with David Cullen there, but
but this is right. Hang on a second. This is what geeks used to argue over before we got into the wokeness crowd.
Exactly.
And I really appreciate having the proper arguments. It's like the games consoles, yeah. And it's like kind of in the old days, Nintendo or Sega or the Nintendo PlayStation or Xbox, yeah. And I like those, whether you like them. I like having those conversations because there's always some merit to what people were saying, and it's not just someone beating you over the head with some shit morality.
Yes.
Sorry.
Yeah, no, you're absolutely right. But this is why I've loved this season. I mean, there are people still trying to have a go at it. And it's funny what they're picking up on. Like, all these woke fucking journalists are now having to go at Picard season 3. And I love it because what they're picking apart is just BS. It's like you just don't understand well-written stuff. You're going to have a go at everything because it's not your fucking Star Trek Discovery. Here's the thing, right? Look, the one thing I will say about Discovery is it has always looked good. It looks beautiful. That's about the only thing I can say about it, right?
Yeah, the
production was amazing. The production staff have done a marvelous job on Discovery. The same with Strange New Worlds. And whilst I like Strange New Worlds more than I like Discovery, the only reason I like Strange New Worlds is because of Captain Pike, because Anson Mount is just a damn good captain, and he needs to be a more good captain. And there is one episode in Strange New Worlds where he really is a good captain. But they didn't use Rebecca Romaine enough. And, it's now the only Star Trek series in production. It's rumored to have a season 3. That will be it because they were contracted for 3 seasons. And I think some people are speculating we're going to get an announcement at the end of the year. Paramount, if by some miracle you're listening to this, announce it at the end of Picard season 3 if you know what's good for you, even if it's 2 years in the future. Bloody well announce that you're bringing Terry Matalas back to write Star Trek Legacy. Do it. Bloody announce it. Because I tell you, you will have the love of the fans, and they will wait 2 years. And they might even tune into Strange New Worlds in the meantime. Trust me on this. Look, yeah, objectively, it probably wasn't as a good an episode, but I loved the member berries, Gareth. I loved them. I loved seeing those ships. I liked the fact that Geordie was a dick, but he was a dick for a reason. And they didn't make him a dick of a father. They made him a real father. And he wasn't a dick. He was trying to protect his daughter. Fathers and daughters do that all around the world.
I was going to say, Biffa, mate, we covered that at the beginning when we were talking about Victoria Alonso disappearing off from thing. And yes, I think my advice is to maybe move past the whole Kang thing and Nihilus, I think was my suggestion. But it could be Apocalypse too, because of the X-Men. That'd be quite good. I think Marvel's cursed. I think they're a bit shit. No worries. No harm, no foul.
I mean, going back, I know that we're going to find out what's in Hangar Bay 12, and I will be happy with either the D or the E. I'm famous for loving the E. I think the E's a cool ship. But
yeah, you were big into E's at college, weren't you?
Yeah, I was. I loved it. I thought it was awesome. But I love a star.
He's capped out.
At heart, I love a star.
There he goes again. Look at that face.
I'm not losing you. This is weird, stupid router. I love a starship, and like Jack said, if I'm absolutely honest, I'm a Constitution man at heart. And God, she was gorgeous. So if I'm all honest, what I want to see is them on board the Kirk ship, but who cares? Now, I thought the way they brought back Data was interesting. I did not see that coming. I love
Right.
the fact that everybody thought it's law. It's law. Well, not quite.
But what I did enjoy was the fact that they actually wrapped up that head, B4's head from Nemesis, which was good.
Okay, now I've got a weird theory. I don't think they've done it, but as soon as I saw the fact that they
Did you not see that?
yeah, great. Because they
I'll put that back up.
Yeah. Well, they did say he was more human-like and older and things. They did address that. They did it cleverly. Okay, so they stole Jean-Luc Picard's real body, and Terry Matalis is actually doing something with that. Okay. Here's the thing, right? You thought that Jack was a changeling. What if Beverly is the changeling?
Oh.
What if Beverly is the changeling and Jack really is his son, but he's a clone, or like not like he's kind of like been made in a lab and he's not that old. He's like only a couple of months old, and that Beverly is the changeling. Why do they want him? Why do they want him? Right? And I can't see them writing in a son only to kill him off. Right? Last week, I could believe your theory, right? But this week, when I thought, hang on, they've stolen Jean-Luc Picard's body. Why do they need that? Do they need that for the DNA? What possibly could you do with a dead body, right? DNA, right? They've given they've taken DNA. This guy's got the pneumatic syndrome, right? They could have got that from the DNA from a clone. Why do they need him? Hang on, like Beverly insists it's his son. What if Beverly is the changeling? I can see it.
No.
I can see it.
But she uncovered the changeling's fleshier form.
Yeah, but what can they do about it? They're out in the cold. No one's listening to them. What can they actually do about it right now? They no one at Starfleet believes them. They are fugitives, and it's not like they've turned up and gone, "We've got proof." Where's the evidence?
See, my worry is that they're going to cross it over with the Borg, because
I don't
use him as like a key to activate a Borg cube or something.
I don't see them bringing back the Borg. I think again, right. We know that
I'm trying to think what's special about Picard's body, and the most special thing is that he was locutus. Yeah?
But I mean, right. What's the biggest criticism, or one of the biggest criticisms, is they keep going back to the Borg in Picard, right? Now we know that Matalis has taken all of this criticism on board.
But once he's trying to fix it,
he is. But I can't. When everybody realised it was the Changelings, everybody had a geekasm, and including you and me. It's like, okay, that's really cool. I don't know. You could be right. It's still connected to Jack in some way.
I am desperately trying to think what makes him stick out, and it's like the Q thing. Well, Q's dead. Yeah. Is there any other one that I can think of?
So far as we know, Q is dead.
Yeah, then again, it might be a non-linear thing, so that might be a version of him at old age that showed up then, but there's still younger versions of him out in the cosmos. If that makes any sense, it's all a bit wibbly wobbly, timey wimey.
Yeah. I don't know at this point in time. I don't know. I know the next two episodes are kind of weaker. I don't really care as long as they're as entertaining as it has been, and this guy loves Trek. I keep saying this, but it's obvious. This guy, and you can tell, and I think this is why the fans are buying into it, and why the fans excuse all the little niggly things with it. And there are niggly things with it. Their overuse of modern vernacular is still there. There is a lot of swearing, and okay, sometimes I like it. I kind of loved Riker's talk back to the Changeling, filled you with all that gooey shit. I liked that line. I know that it makes some people cringe, but it made me giggle.
Oh, hang on. I just realized one reason I didn't like the episode as much.
What?
Marina Sirtis.
Look,
Who's I
right.
saw her, I went, oh, I can't just keep her on video for fuck's sake.
Look, I know people don't like her because of what she said in real life, but the character is
Well,
fine.
no, it's not the fact that she sounds in real life. It's the fact that in Star Trek she has like a faux Eastern European style accent, and then she's got a Cockney / South London accent.
Yeah, but that
Which
came
confuses
through
the hell out of me.
That comes through in that video. It made me giggle. I mean, again, that was a mistake. That was the wrong take, I think. You said 4 feet in the air. Gosh, Mary Poppins. Yeah, but she is Cockney though, isn't she? She is a Londoner, and that accent is still there. Look, Troy was going to have to turn up at some point. You've got to have Troy. Now we've got them all back. But again, I loved the bit with Seven, and again Raffi. I like Raffi now. That's the problem. I like Raffi now.
They've done something that someone who I really couldn't stand in the other ones, and it's like, you've made me like her.
Yeah, and I kind of liked her in Daystrom when she was refereeing between him and Rolf. It's like, come on, we're here to do a job. Would you two stop fucking about? Paraphrasing.
Yeah, but it's just like Riker's doing stuff. It's like kind of usually I get some witty comeback from that.
Yeah.
Which was good.
I love the bit. I love the bit where Wolf's just, when Seven sees Raffi and they're like, hello, and it's like, are you coming down to the planet with us? Because when ex-lovers, she goes, no, I'm not coming. Oh, thank God. Yeah, I was lying.
that was really good. That was good. It was God, thank God, this just make everything more complicated.
They're giving Michael Dorn all the best fucking lines, aren't they? He deserves it. I love seeing Wolf back. I love it. And he really is the best version of Wolf. He's brilliant. Really, really, really good. Out of all of them, I think I've enjoyed Wolf almost the most, and probably Riker as well, especially when the two of them were riffing off each other. I mean, that was, again, I loved it, even though I'd seen it in the trailer when he goes, I prefer pacifism now. We're going to die. It still made me laugh, even though I knew it was coming. Fucking brilliant. And it's like, attack Tribbles, scourge of the Klingon Empire.
Yeah. It was,
dear. I've loved it. I'm sorry. I'm loving it.
Just a quick one, right? Was the AI the data gestalt, I'm going to call it, or was it something separate?
No, it was data.
Because they said that data was the inventory.
He was the AI as well, because the minute we saw the Raven, and it was funny because like Riker goes, I've seen that somewhere before, and I'm like, I've seen that Raven somewhere in Star Trek. What was it? Flying down. I remember seeing a Raven in an episode flying down the Star Trek corridor, and then I went, Data dreaming, and then Moriarty turns up, and I was like, is this how it's about? And then Moriarty, and then you hear that the music, and I admit I don't know music by notes, but then you heard the pop goes the weasel, and I went, and then you see him, and at the minute you see Riker like in that thing, I went, Counter at Farpoint. This is where he first meets Data. I knew it instantly.
Yes,
and I was just like, oh my God, it's Data, and it's not Data, but it is Data. But it's Lowell. They brought Lowell back into it, like fucking Data's daughter. I was like, okay, they really are going to town with this. And I don't know how they're going to rectify it, but when he wakes up and he goes, Geordie, like that, you're just like, oh, Captain, like that. And it's like, Data, are you Data? Yes, Captain. No, Captain. I was like, oh, this is going to be, And then he switches to Law, and then he switches to B4, and it was B4 from Nemesis. And then he, to the Soon character, like, why do Soons all look alike? But we can forgive that because this is so good.
I always thought he should be like one of people cloning himself and putting his mind into the cloned body. That would make perfect sense. Figured out how to do the cloning, got it right. Figured out to transfer his memory. It's
I think the next 2 episodes are going to be not as strong. That's what the people that have seen this keep saying, and I wish they'd stop giving away hints. But I am glad that we get to find out what is in Hangar Bay 12 and come on, be the D. Or the E. Be
the D. Keith wants the D, everybody. Keith's after the D.
I don't care, but I think the final 2 episodes are going to be amazing. But the thing is, they're all the actors are saying that they're going to come back if Star Trek Legacy is going to get made, and they're all talking about it this week. I think Paramount's done a deal, and if
I think paperwork is flying around. I think
they're
paperwork
realizing
is flying around.
They can spend a fraction of what they've spent on Discovery, and more people will watch it.
Yeah.
I mean, you're right. There's 7 sets. I mean, Vadic's ship is just the bottom part of the ship that Raffi's been on. It's just the bottom part. It's just redressed.
It is.
It is.
I didn't realise that. Yeah, it is. That's why they don't go downstairs. Because they go downstairs. There's Vadic downstairs. We've been looking for
the fact they keep using the 10 forward set and nobody cares. Why is it the 10 forward set always running on the Titan? Well, everybody needs a drink. You don't care. It doesn't even matter if it doesn't make that much sense. You don't care because it's just.
But you're telling a story and you're engaging us and you're taking us out of things. I'm just hoping. I'm hoping it sticks to landing. That's my worry. My big worry is that
everybody says it does. And based upon what I have seen so far, and the fact that he addresses everything, every time we go, well, hang on, changes didn't look like that, and it gets addressed. The fact he addresses everything. And everything that everybody said is he will address this. You do find out what's behind that door. You do find out what's in Hangar Bay 12. These things get addressed. This week, the whole network ships thing again came up. That will get addressed.
I love that because it's like kind of Starfleet has data link. It's like we have data link now with our fighters.
Yeah. I think it's going to be. I think it will stick the landing. And what's more, I think we are going to get an announcement that Metalis is coming back. And if Paramount knows what that's good for him, they will bring him back. Hang on a second. He can clearly make Trek for a lot less money.
Right. Hold on a second. I think this is what's going to happen. You're going to find out on the last episode of Picard. That's another announcement. I think paperwork is flying around at the moment, and they're trying to get people signed on, and budget sorted.
That's exactly what I mean. People saying, "Oh, you're probably going to find out towards the end of the year." No, I think somebody at Paramount's finally got his head screwed on right. Seen the fan reaction, seen the numbers going up, we need to announce this at the end of Picard, right? Because if we don't announce this till the end of the year and we put Strange New Worlds on, it's going to piss everybody off again. If we say, look, right, we are doing this, right, and we're bringing him back, he's going to be head honcho, he's running all the, everything. He's going to be writing his own series, he's going to be overseeing it. You don't have to sack Alex Kurtzman, you just don't have to mention him. And I think you will, it's number one show on Paramount. When it started, it wasn't even in the top 10. Now it's number one for the last 2 weeks. Says a lot. People are watching it. People are coming back to it. And if Paramount knows what's good for you, and I think you're right. I think the paperwork's flying around now because people have suddenly gone, oh shit, this is actually popular and people are loving it now and people are coming back. People, all these YouTubers.
And it's cheap.
Yeah. Cheapest series of Star Trek by a long way. I think the whole of Picard season 3 roughly costs what 3 episodes of Discovery cost.
Wow.
And it's the best Trek in 20
hang on, are we talking first and second season? Because they were a lot for the first and second season.
I know that it had a really small budget, like a really small budget. Like people were not paid because it was such a small budget. So I think I read that it was like 3 episodes of Discovery for the whole season. Partly because the sets were all built. They barely built any new sets for this. So like Daystrom was a roughly a new set but a redressed one.
Do you want to hear something really sad? In Star Trek Discovery, when they had the Section 31 ship and you saw like the setup of that. That was from The Expanse.
I know.
That was the
It was a redress of the one that Admiral what's his face was on that
Wynn,
got
the one
taken
that
out.
Wynn took over.
Wynn, yeah,
I can't remember the name of it.
Yeah,
They got
I know the one.
proto-moleculed in the end, had the lift in the middle.
It was a redress of that set. You're correct.
Right, that
but
was
yeah,
so sad when I saw that.
I know. But look, the rumor is that they've severely cut back on Star Trek production. Look, I've liked Strange New Worlds, but unless you get rid of Akiva Goldsman, you're never going to, it's still going to have this same bullshit where we have to focus on Uhura, and she has to have some kind of tragedy in her life because it's lazy ass writing. You need to fire if you want to keep Strange New Worlds, you need to fire the writers and get Metalis to, appoint some new writers that can actually fucking write. Then you might have a show. Otherwise, cancel it.
He has got competent writers who can write.
Yeah, but then Akiva Goldsman puts all his own bullshit in. Yeah,
no, I'm talking about Terry Metalis. Sorry.
Oh yeah, that's what I'm saying. Terry Metalis should then appoint some writers to carry on Strange New Worlds if they want to keep it. But to be honest, you can get rid of that. Keep Prodigy. Get rid of the fucking stupid cartoon, but keep Prodigy because Prodigy is actually quite good. Prodigy is Star Trek for kids, and it's and adults. But it's pretty good Star Trek. Keep that. Get rid of everything else. Get Metalis in. Write a new Star Trek series. It'll be #1 every week on your streaming service, guaranteed. Or I will eat my hat.
You still owe me a T-shirt. 2 T-shirts.
I'll eat those T-shirts if I'm wrong. If they appoint,
that's what I think happened to those T-shirts that you ate them.
If they appoint Terry Metalis and he writes a show, I guarantee you it will be #1 every week. Every week. It will be #1 stream show on Paramount. No problem. Anyway, you're probably getting to the end of your energy reserves, and we've talked and waxed lyrical quite a bit. So I think it is time to put a bow on this and wrap it up and say goodbye.
Yep. Yes.
So
it's goodbye from me.
It's a goodbye from me. Thank you to everyone in the comments. Thanks to everyone that's commented and posted. Thanks to Chuck, Biffa, Steve, a good old Natter, I think.
It's Babster.
Mr. Babster. Anyway, thanks for everybody. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening if you're listening on the podcast. And we'll see you next week. Take care. Bye-bye.